certainly have had a difficult week in many ways, and I want to really thank them for their persistence and their resilience. We know that they've been impacted in many ways, whether they're going to work or getting their kids to school, or whether they're headed to a doctor's appointment, or just normal type of transportation. We know that it's impacted communities in different ways. East Providence in particular. I happen to have family that lives in East Providence, and I know that it was a parking lot there for a while there. So, but today's different, and so I really want to talk to the people in the state of Rhode Island and thank them for their persistence on making sure that their lives are in as much order as possible, and in turn, we're very grateful for their patience. So, a most significant update today is that Rhode Island is, as you saw this morning, the bypass on the Washington Bridge has been opened, and the director will give you a little more details on what that means to us. But during today's commute, I actually, one of the people in our office did a video as they were going up about 2 miles leading up to the overpass. So I got a firsthand look at exactly how that traffic was flowing east, and how smooth it was to actually make that move from the eastbound lane, the westbound lane, into the overpass. That now we have the 2 lanes going in each direction. So thank you for that work, in terms of the individuals that have worked it. And I want to just really give another shout out to those people who are actually physically doing the work. I do believe that it's nothing wrong with if you're going by those sites. I know when I do over the next few days, I'm going to give a thumbs up to the workers, or I'm going to give a tip of the hat, and it's a little light beep on the horn would be in order here, because they work 24 hours, 7 days, over this whole week, and boy, we can really be proud of the people and the men and women who did the work. So give them thumbs up when you go by. So we had daily calls this morning with our municipal leaders as we are approaching this. Again, Director Mark Pappas leading the charge from the emergency management, coordinating calls with our municipal leaders to hear individually what's happening in their communities relative to the Washington Bridge. And so we get input from them in a way that I think is very important. We'll continue to meet with them over the course of the next few weeks to make sure that we understand what's happening in their communities, but also communicating to them in terms of what we're doing on the state level. We will be really diligently looking at traffic patterns over the next several days to determine exactly where the pressure points may continue to exist, and also to be able to report back to the people in terms of how to best navigate the new path that is coming across the Washington Bridge at the moment. And then the other piece that we are shifting to is the shifting to the idea that the economy is really important to us, right? And businesses have been impacted. We know that workers have been impacted. So let's make sure that we're doing this effort to shop local during this holiday season, dine local, and make sure that we're supporting not only our local businesses, but those individuals that work in our businesses, right? If you're able to, a little more generous tip during this holiday season will be helpful to make up for the loss of revenue that individuals, workers, and families have experienced. We're going to continue to work with Secretary Tanner with a focus again in East Providence and Providence with the mayors to gather data on businesses that have been impacted, so that we can get an inventory of those as we build the case of helping and assisting in the way that is going to help our businesses. And let's end this year strong. Let's end the economy strong. So over the last few days, I've been speaking with business owners, and I know that Lieutenant Governor as well has been out doing that. We'll continue to do the outreach because right now it's so important. The information is shared with us. So once again, Commerce support line is 521-HELP, 521-HELP. And the more businesses that let us know what's going on, the more we're going to be able to actually make arrangements to help those businesses. I'm pleased, very pleased to announce, and Mark Hayward has just let me know as we entered in here today that the SBA Administrator, Guzman, has signed and approved our request for SBA assistance. And this is a really big deal for access to capital, and we want to make sure we maximize that opportunity. Director Hayward will share more details when he gets to the mic. Also joining us today is Lori Karen Silvera, who's the Turnpike and Bridge Authority, with some news regarding waiving the $10 fee for attaining Rhode Island Easy Pass transponders. And I was just told, which was news to me, if you got AAA, you can go there and get it all set up. And Lori will explain the financial advantage that is there that will reduce that expense of going over the bridge by 60, 70, 80%. All right, so I'll close by, again, thanking the residents in the state of Rhode Island, the people who live here that were inconvenienced, who had to change their schedules. We are so pleased that that we've been able to navigate through this this emergency in a way, but we're not getting it done without the support of our local, of our state residents, the people who live here, and in particular the ones who have been impacted right in their homes. East Providence, thank you to each and every one of them. And finally, yeah, give that tip of the hat, a thumb up, thumbs up, little beep on the horn as you go past the construction sites that and recognize the individuals that have really worked hard to deliver on an immediate time frame relief to everybody in the state of Rhode Island. With that, I'll hand it over to Director Alvigi. Thanks, Director.
Thanks, Governor. Thank you, Governor. In addition to being happy to speak about the repair of the roads, I'm just as happy to get to repair my voice back. My doc heard me on the news, and he immediately ordered me some prednisone and some antibiotics to fight this bronchitis that I've had for the last week and a half or two. So, but I'm very pleased that to announce that we have, as you all know, the bypass lanes were completed this morning, early morning, about 1 a.m. And we're able to resume westbound traffic over the Washington Bridge by using, as I said, the 2 lanes on the eastbound part of the bridge for travel in a westerly direction. It seems to have worked. It had an immediate beneficial impact to traffic. It has cut traffic time going over the Washington Bridge back down to actually what it was today, what it was, better than it was before all of this happened. Now that's partially because some people today didn't hear about it and continue to use the detours, or school is out and some people, I'm sure, have been choosing to work remote. So the traffic volume we expect during the next week or two to increase again to a point where the beneficial effect of this bypass will be there, but it will yield time of travel that is more comparable to what it was before. Hopefully that's good news for people. People can begin to change their schedules and not have to account for extra time to get to where they're going for the most part. And hopefully, you know, as the governor said, this impact on businesses, hopefully it'll be mitigated if anybody canceled any events that they were going to have during the next several weeks. They're probably safe to put them back on because the travel times are going to be pretty much what they were before this emergency happened. In addition to that, we're going to continue, or continue. We already started working on the repair of the original bridge. And we are moving resources and schedules so that we can do the same kind of expediting on that part of the project as we did on this. So our project managers are very much engaged with their mission to complete that on or before the 3-month period. And of course, as we did with this, we're going to keep all of you posted as to how we're progressing and what the schedule shift should be. The schedule, I'm expecting to shift in a beneficial way over the next couple of months. I spoke last week, this week, about us implementing a ferry service. Our transit group here at DOT were able to create a new ferry service in the last 2 days between Bristol and Providence. We're using Sea Streak, the same company that we use for our summer program to Newport, which also includes Bristol, but this one is going to utilize 3 ferries, not 1. The total combined capacity of the 3 ferries will be the ability to move over 1,100, over 1,000 passengers an hour between Providence and Bristol, or Bristol and Providence. And those 3 ferries will run continuously from 6 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. in the evening. Parking on the Bristol side will be at the Colt State Park, and we have arranged with RIPTA to provide bus shuttle between the parking facilities at Colt State Park and the Bristol Town Docks where the ferry will land. Likewise, in Providence side, where we've arranged for shuttles to be available to transport people from the ferry landing at Ganos, at India Point Park to Kennedy Plaza and the Amtrak station, so that people can make connections to other mass transit capabilities there. We will monitor the use of the ferry system, and we'll gauge it accordingly, but I think we have enough capacity to provide however many people want to avail themselves to that mode while we're going through the reconstruction of the main bridge. We have everything in place to be able to start that service on Monday morning, but I don't believe we're going to be able to. We're expecting between 40 and 50 mile an hour winds and some heavy seas on Monday, so we're not going to be able to begin the service then, but we're keeping an eye on the weather, and we will let you all know when we intend on actually beginning that service. Other than that, as I said, we're not taking our foot off the pedal. It remains on the pedal to get the rest of this project and the main bridge reconstructed as quickly as we possibly can. I want to thank the governor for his support, kind of leadership that he showed, the performance, part of the performance I'm sure that we got out of our folks at DOT and also the contractors was his continuously having our backs in terms of providing an all-of-government approach that he took to solving this. We had cooperation with the local police and the local mayors, the state police, EMA, all of the departments in his cabinet were very cooperative and helpful through this whole thing, and I want to thank everyone. And I also want to thank the commuters for the patience and the courtesy that they've shown out on the road. So I'll hand it back over. Next up is East Providence Mayor De Silva.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor Mark Hayward. I'm here to report that the City of East Providence is open for business. Today's traffic condition in East Providence is remarkable in light of what we've had to deal with over the last 3 days. I also want to recognize the fact that The DOT, the governor, they made a decision to keep our residents safe by closing down this bridge. They closed down the bridge, and within 3 days, they found a solution and implemented a solution that is really helping our community to function again and to be able to serve our businesses and our residents. I want to thank our police department, our DPW, and our school department for collaborating and working with us to make sure that we took care of our residents, first and foremost. We are still not done taking care of our small business owners. As a matter of fact, today at 1 p.m., I will be taking a tour of Waterman Avenue, some of the local businesses with Secretary Liz Tanner, who's been incredible also throughout this process, and United States Small Business Administration District Director Mark Haywood. Also, Congressman Gabe Amo will be joining us as we tour some of those businesses. The governor, from the very outset, not only did he want to protect public safety, but also the vitality and economic interests of our small businesses. We've seen so many gains, and we don't want to see those gains hurt by this unfortunate set of circumstances that we have to deal with. But I am here to say that I couldn't be more proud of the team that is responsible for getting those bypasses open. It's remarkable. When you think about the difference, we were out there, I was out there at 5 a.m. this morning to see, and I was so excited. I was on the phone with the director last night talking about the progress that was happening on the bypass. 5 a.m. this morning, we were out there. I've been driving through the city all day long. There is not one traffic hiccup at all throughout the city. We are open for business. We want you to continue supporting our small businesses. Come and visit our restaurants. If you have appointments, come and keep your appointments. We are open for business. We've received approximately 175 entries on our form indicating that they are a local small business that has had some negative economic impact. And I know that Director Haywood is going to come up here and announce some of the steps that we're going to be taking together to help those small businesses to get them through this difficult situation. Once again, I want to thank the governor and his team for really moving on a critical issue in lightning speed to take care of our residents, to take care of our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Mark?
Afternoon, everyone. Excuse me. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor. It's great to be here again. I want to thank the governor for his expeditious sending of the letter from the state of Rhode Island to the U.S. Small Business Administration. And I'm pleased to announce at 11:21 this morning, Administrator Isabella Castillas Guzman signed the disaster declaration, which opens up the potential for small business loans here in the state of Rhode Island. Excuse me. And with that, interest rates for the small business loans, which can go out to 30 years, will be 4%. For the not-for-profits, will be 3.25%. And we will be opening a business recovery center in the city of East Providence. It will be at the Weaver Memorial Library. Our target date is to open that on Monday. We'll give you some more information as soon as we get it. We have staff traveling to Rhode Island, I know from both Atlanta and New York. That will staff it for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and that's critical to the small business community. Having said that, this morning I also had a meeting with all of our technical assistance providers. So in addition to having our disaster team at the Weaver Library, we will also have individuals from SCORE who are mentors, as well as the Small Business Development Center, because it's not always money. Sometimes it's technical assistance, needing marketing and or other help to get them back up and running. My plea to all people here in the state of Rhode Island is that shop small, dine small. Small businesses have been impacted by what's happened over the last few days. And it's really up to us to make sure that we're supporting the business community. Having said that, Governor, it's not only Providence County, but it's also Kent County and Bristol County that's impacted by this particular declaration. And the contiguous counties in Bristol County, Massachusetts, as well as Windham County, Connecticut. Those businesses, if they have been impacted by this, are also eligible for SBA assistance. So we're looking forward to having our team on the ground here, hopefully this afternoon, and opening up our Business Recovery Center on Monday. Thank you, Governor. And Laurie Silvera from the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Bridge and Turnpike Authority. There's a lot of Portuguese people up here, just want to say. And just for the press, it's the United States Small Business Administration. We're not the association, that's a lobby group, so we have to make that determination.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor. Thank you. We at the Rhode Island Turnpike and Bridge Authority, and by the way, we're a very small agency, but we're small, but we do a lot. And we're pleased and thank the Governor and thank all of the other agencies, REMA, the State Police, DOT, and all of the municipalities for allowing us to be part of the solution. We have been thinking outside the box since Monday when we knew about this. We have been trying to take measures to clear any projects that we had. We had an inspection project taking place on the westbound side of the Pell Bridge. We cleared that. We obviously have a construction project that we cannot clear, but we did our best to clear whatever we could. As of this morning, I'm pleased to tell you all that our traffic was back to normal. So that's great news. We also have been trying to think outside the box to come up with other solutions. And as the Governor mentioned and Director Hayward mentioned, what we would propose to do and what we are going to implement right away is that we're going to stop charging the $10 fee for issuance of a transponder. Now we have to work out the details of that as the days go on. Obviously that requires some changes in our systems at the Turnpike and Bridge Authority, but we will make certain that if you open an Easy Pass account and get a transponder, that you will not pay the $10 fee. And in the interest of fairness, not only will we do that through the first week of January, given the fact that the holidays are upon us, but we will also go back 2 weeks. So if you heeded our suggestion that you come down earlier this week. Yesterday we had some extended hours from 1 to 6. We're not usually open on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We did open yesterday, and we're going to open next week. In addition to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll also be open again Tuesday and Thursday, 1 to 6. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, by the way, is 9 to 1. But next week, every day will be available. There will be hours every day available to open an Easy Pass account. And if you do that, if you already heeded that advice and you did that earlier this week, as many people did, we had I will call it a run on transponders as soon as the news was out that some people thought they might be using the Pell and might need an Easy Pass account. If you did it earlier this week, we will roll back the $10 fee 2 weeks as well. So that's our plan. Again, we are grateful for the opportunity to participate and to come up with solutions here. Just so you know, there is a difference if you have an Easy Pass or if you come through the Pell Plaza without an Easy Pass account. If you come through and you are a Rhode Island resident in a passenger vehicle, if you come through without one, it's $3 per axle, which is $6 each way. If you are a Rhode Island resident, the rate to come through the Pell Bridge with a transponder, an Easy Pass transponder, is 83 cents. And in my book, 83 cents beats $6 every single day of the week. So come on down, get a transponder. If you don't want to come visit us down at the offices in Jamestown, you can go to any AAA office, and no, you don't need to be a member of AAA. You can also go online. Our website for the Easy Pass accounts is easypassritba.com, or you can call us toll free 877-743-9727. If all else fails, ask for the executive director. I always tell my director of tolling, Catherine Coleman, is here with me today, and I always say I'm her best apprentice in the customer service department. We're here to resolve problems. We're here to serve. Thank you very much.
I'm going to start right over here with Bill. Hey, Director. I'm sure the people are very pleased with the updates today. 2 questions, though. First of all, what have you and your organization learned about crisis communications over these last few days? There are a lot of people that expressed frustration with the Pell Bridge situation, not really understanding what was going on, why there was so much significant traffic. Obviously, it wasn't ground zero in this crisis, but it became a tributary and a secondary problem. What would you change going forward about getting out front?
I totally agree with you that communication in any crisis is probably 90% of the problem and the solution. We did try to reach out as much as we could. We weren't anticipating, quite honestly. We did see the alternate routes that were offered, but we did not anticipate that people from Swansea, for instance, would come down through the Pell Bridge to get to T.F. Green International Airport or to get to points even farther north than that. We did not anticipate that. So we did communicate. We did clear the construction to the extent the inspection we cleared, and there were other things that we could clear. Obviously, the redesign of the road we could not do anything about. And I just want to mention that briefly. That road was designed for vehicles traveling going to 0 miles per hour, because obviously they were stopping at toll booths. They aren't stopping at toll booths. It's been a beautiful thing. I look out my window and see, it's been a great thing. For 2 years, we've been all electronic at the Pell Bridge. But the problem is now that we have this, we've had this situation, and we were straightening out the road to be consistent with today's highway standards. We want our roads to be safe. Safety is number one. And that's what's going on out there, is straightening out that road outside the plaza. We already have it dug up, and we couldn't do anything about that. Whenever we were asked in terms of communications, we did put that out there. We can't do anything about that.
Very quickly, you do need a bank account to obtain an Easy Pass, is that correct?
You do not.
So how can someone without a bank account obtain an Easy Pass?
Cash. And you do not have to be on replenishment. Some people find that that's the most convenient way to go with an Easy Pass account. You don't have to worry about it. You put a credit card on the account if you have a credit card, or you put it on replenishment so that you know that you're never going to go into the red. But yes, you do not need a bank account.
We're going to go to Alex and Pat.
Director Alvini, yesterday when we were working on these updates, construction crews there told us that they knew that this bypass lanes were going to be ready by this morning. However, yesterday you said that you would give us those updates. Why wasn't that done?
I did give you updates.
That those lanes would be open today?
Well, we weren't, unless I'm 100% sure, I'm going by the information that is coming into us. There are a number of other factors that people on the ground don't even know about that can cause delays. So the information that we got out, that we actually did this in what, 3 days' time, came on an ongoing basis. We made the press aware of that yesterday. We said, looking like Saturday, could be sometime on Friday. And they did a great job, and we got it done on Friday.
And what do you say to those that say that it wasn't announced because, we were trying to make it seem or appear as though...
No. We need to give people realistic expectations of what we can deliver, what we're 100% sure we can deliver. We do that, and we deliver.
We'll go Pat and then Chris.
Governor McKee, when you look back on decades of emergency bridge response, I'm talking about the Miannis River Bridge in Connecticut, the bridge in Minnesota, the bridge in Philadelphia, you've had a whole host of different federal responses. I believe the Bush administration may even have declared a federal disaster in the case of the Minnesota bridge. The state of Rhode Island's always been very provocative about emergency aid and very much on top of the situation. What is the current thinking right now about seeking aid either to businesses or DOT post-SBA?
So we're not going to leave any outside resources untouched. If we're qualified for them, we'll be applying for them. If it requires a declaration like I signed yesterday for the SBA signature, and we streamline and fast track that through. So we're continually in conversation with our congressional delegation, continuously in conversation with President Biden's cabinet. So if we identify things that we actually can qualify for, we're going to go for it. I think that I've had a record that's pretty strong in making sure that we make sure that if we get federal aid, whether it was to the housing assistance, that we'd get every dollar out of the $200 million, never give any money back that we're qualified for. This would be the same situation.
And Secretary Buttigieg, has he weighed in at all on this situation?
Yeah, I think that we've been informed that that we're not qualifying for a disaster type of funding from that department, but we also are in constant conversation about what we might be able to recover. We'll maximize every opportunity, and again, we have a congressional delegation that was on the call yesterday, the day before, and today, to make sure that they're connected in. They've sent letters to the appropriate parties. The people in the state of Rhode Island should really feel confident that if there is any relief, we will find it.
We'll go
Yes.
Chris, then Tom.
Director Alvini, regarding the ferry service, what's kind of the time estimate from Bristol to get to Providence, and what's going to be the cost of it to run the service?
The time that it's going to take to run is about 30 minutes. The ferries will be leaving the docks in both directions every 30 minutes. So there'll be 30-minute timing to the next ferry. If you miss one, get the next one. They'll run continuously from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the shuttle services will be in place to bring people from the ferry in Providence to Kennedy Plaza and the Amtrak, and in Bristol from Cold State Park parking lots to the ferry and back and forth on both ends. With regard to the cost, I'll have to get that information and we'll report it out to you.
And the timeline for your voice getting better?
Well, the doc says take the full doses of steroids for the next couple of days, and over the weekend, if it's still there, hit it with the Z-Pack. So he gave me backup.
We'll go Tom and then Ed.
Director, question.
Thanks for your concern, by the way.
Question on the bridge rods. Were repairing them or replacing them ever part of the bridge work, overall bridge work? And is there any chance that some of the bridge work already done contributed to those rods breaking?
There's, so answer the second question first. We don't have any reason to believe that that is the case, that the construction impacted them, although we will be looking at the various reasons. As the governor said, you know, there's a time to do all of that. We will be looking at the various reasons and causes that could have contributed to their sudden failure the way that they did. With regard to when it was scheduled for a future project. And we were moving across that bridge to make repairs in accordance with the condition of the bridge or each of the spans, and with several hundred other bridges in the state that we have that are structurally deficient. But I'm not sure what the timing of that would have been.
Just to be clear, the rods themselves were part of that future plan?
No, well, the rods, the entire structure was part of that plan, including the cantilever, the rods, and everything else that's associated on it.
We'll go Ed, Brian, final question for Ed.
By the way, we have those plans up. If you look on our website, there's a 10-year plan with several hundred over the next 10 years, bridge projects all coordinated. And one of the factors in our evaluation as to when each one gets programmed is what the condition of them are during that time.
Director, with the times getting more or less back to normal now with the 2 bypass lanes open, do you still see a need for that ferry service that you launch in the next week? Is there any concept of how many people are going to be accessing
Okay,
that?
so we don't have estimates of that. We're putting it in place. We're in a belts and suspenders mode right now. We want to offer various options of travel, multimodal travel to people in the state. So we're going to put it into effect, and as I said, we're going to be doing with the various detours for vehicles, we will be monitoring the use and the passenger rates at the facility, and we'll meter it forward or back according to what kind of usage we get.
And there's no charge to get on that, right?
We're not going to charge anything for that ride.
Brian?
Director, kind of to Alex's question about the timeline with the bypass opening, I know you said yesterday that the original estimate of 2 to 3 weeks was based on typical standards about doing this kind of thing, but you also said it was an all-hands-on-deck effort. So was it not all hands on deck first, or is this a situation that you overestimate, and when it turns out you can do it in a shorter time?
No, we always do things on the basis of the data that we have available to us each day. And here we went 3 days, and the data changed on each of those days, and we reported out on each of those days as the data changed what our new expectation was, right? So on the first day, we get the estimates from the contract that's doing it in terms of what they think it's going to cost and what it's going to entail. We have put in place a project management process here at DOT that on projects like that, where we get initial estimates or initial bids, our folks are trained, and it's a culture here to continuously put pressure on those original estimates, both schedule and cost, to improve them. whether it be the first day, the second week, the second month, the second year of a project, the third year of a project. They're always looking for ways to accelerate both time and reduce cost every day that they're on the project. That's what happened here. On the first day, we got the estimate from the contractor. We then went back to them after reviewing it on the second day and said, well, you're showing us that this estimate is based on working day work. We want you to put on 24/7 rotation of crews working on this. It's important for us to get it done. The ordering of materials and the design of it, instead of waiting for your consultant to design it and then building it, how about you get started on the demolition while the design is being done for the remedy? That way, when you get done with the remedy, you already have the design and you immediately move into construction. That saves some more time. And then, of course, we asked them to bring in, once we went through those and saw how we could accelerate it, on day 2 or 3, we asked them to move in resources from other projects that they were doing nearby to additionally support this, and materials that would additionally support this to get it done even faster. So as we went through it, every day, every minute, every second, we were looking for ways for them to accelerate the time to do that.
All right, Governor, if I could just follow up on the communications piece from Ms. Silvera about crisis communications. Despite what you've insisted and shown evidence that you say backs up the point that this couldn't have been realized sooner, and despite nobody being hurt, and there's been really no argument that the bridge should have been closed, there are still critics who say that there's too much congratulating and celebrating over that fact. And despite your change in tone yesterday about welcoming oversight from your response to me 2 days ago, including saying that the people you're talking to are pleased with what's happening, did you misjudge the scale of this or the tone? Is there anything that you would do differently at this point?
Well, first of all, yesterday wasn't the first day that I said that I welcome oversight. And if you go back to the tape, you can see that we expect that to happen, but we expect to be focused on the emergency at hand and not get distracted by the cynic and critic out there. So what we're doing is, and one of the things that I did talk to Governor of Pennsylvania, he said one of his suggestions was to make sure that you put pressure every day professionally on the people who are doing the work. That's what we did. I think that's what helps accelerate the process. So, no, I think that, you're going to have the cynics and critics that are going to be out there just second guessing. We certainly will get into the oversight issues, working with the General Assembly on it, as I said. And then we'll certainly provide whatever information that comes from them. I think the people are pleased right now, the people I've talked to, and I've been out and about, and I think that Mayor De Silva said it well. The circumstances are significantly better. At the point when I said that people were pleased, we were making progress. And I believe that now the next step is the economy, and we're going to work with the small businesses in the state of Rhode Island.
Last question to Ray.
It's a two-part question. Any safeguard in place for a small business? People love free money in Rhode Island, and you say you're going to give money out, everybody going to lie that they're losing business. First, that's the first question. Second is, all these organizations that receive money from the state, they're not advertising in English and Spanish, encourage the community to speak locally. That you're going to continue supporting all these organizations that take free money from the state, it doesn't promote it in any local media?
Well, on the first one, we're not making any promises or commitment as grants. Well, right now, we've made the move to provide very low interest rate loans in an environment where there's high interest rates historically. When you talk about 4% long-term 30-year loans right now, I think businesses who will qualify for that and are looking to expand their business or bring in capital are going to be in a really different position than they were prior to this emergency. So, and then we'll take a look at what we can provide, whether it's back office help, which we can right now, as the Director Hayward mentioned. we'll continue to do that. I know that we have an advertising campaign to help our small businesses is going to start Monday. I recorded a message today that will be going on the radio. I know Sabina's recording a message that's going to come out in Spanish, and we were told that we probably should do one in Portuguese, which we'll do the same thing. So, yeah, we're going to do this outreach now to the business community and to the communities that you know, are next in line, quite frankly, in terms of our efforts.
But to make it clear, it's no free money, because a lot of people say we're going to get free money.
We have made no commitment for free money. The commitments that we have made is to the mayors in Providence and East Providence. We'll be sending them a letter with a time frame that'll be you know, beginning and end in time frame for any of the public safety costs that they itemize that were over and above because of the emergency.
Thank you, everyone.